Welcome everybody back to round 8 of the Anti-Store Racing IMSA series. This is season 6 and we're back for a finale that's got 3 titles to be decided all in one. We're currently in GT3 qualifying, only just got underway, so drivers on their out laps, half an hour qualifying session, but we're at Le Mans this week, so we're going to have a slightly different qualifying. It'll be 14 minutes of running for each class, which with a nearly 4-minute lap time in the GT3s isn't going to mean they get many laps. I'm joined today by Simon, so it's great to have you back with us. What are you looking forward to in today's race?
Well, I do like Le Mans. This is a big track where you can mostly end up in your own class with a few GTPs or GT3s you have to deal with. So, like, I'm looking forward to see some just classic on-track racing, but what we've also got is a little bit of weather coming in. The practice for this track was wet. It doesn't look like it's completely dried out, but it's definitely dry tyre weather for these GT3s at least. You'll see we have the weather radar on your screen in the bottom right-hand corner. There's weather on the way, and it's expected to hit in about 45 minutes, which would put it slap bang in the middle of hypercar. No, that's not how this session works. No, we've got a dry quali, I think, but you can see it on the weather radar is approaching. Only a 30-minute session combined, 15 per half essentially, 14 minutes when the checkered shows. So this should be able to get the qualifying done in time before the weather comes out, but this race is probably going to be a wet start. And there can be chaos. The current setup in the GTP field with the wet tyres, they just don't seem comfortable anywhere. Notably, Team Hiptrinius Racing, we won the LMP, we won the Sebring 12 hours in an LMP2, which shows you just how good the hypercars are on the wets right now. So excited to see how badly this goes. It could mean that GT3s have a lot to worry about when they get caught, if they get caught in time. But yeah, it should be a dramatic finale to this season, because what we haven't talked about yet is the points.
Yeah, so pretty close in all of them. We'll run you through them quickly, actually. This is the GTP title showdown, so 77 points between the two of them. Obviously, it'll swing a little bit depending on if this ends up being a drop round. Both of the drivers are here, so we're not expecting it to be a drop round for either of them unless something goes wrong. Obviously, that rain that we've mentioned could lead to that. That's probably the biggest gap I think we have off the top of my head. GT3 AM separated by 18 points. That's going to be exciting, isn't it?
That's going to come absolutely down to the wire. And like the GT3 has been pretty close the entire season, so you can imagine there's going to be some paint traded on the track, which, well, we'll see if we end up with anything worse than hurt feelings, but I can imagine it going south very quickly.
Yeah, and then GT3 Pro, I'll tell a lie, oh no, that's not our biggest gap because that's about 19 points, so
yes,
really close there as well. It's essentially in GT3 AM and GT3 Pro, whoever finishes ahead of the other driver is going to take it. We'll update you if we can after qualifying with this graphic again, but with updated points after they scored their qualifying points.
Ooh, I think Knuckle had a hit at the wall. He might actually be fine. Obviously, like, this is a massive lap in the best of times, so you're not going to get many laps turned in the first place. Does he hit the wall? Ooh, hard
like
to tell.
He just does, possibly on the inside a tiny bit.
Yeah, but like you really don't want to have to do another out lap on this track. You want to get it round once, take your flying lap here, and then just get parked, get under pressure tyres on, get your second flying lap in. Because if you're in a title fight that's this close to the wire, qualifying does give points. It is only 10% of the race, I believe, but that's still more than 0.
Yeah, with the fights.
That is Valcars going off.
Adam Jarvis and Ignis obviously in that close fight for the title. Adam Jarvis is the first driver who's going to set a lap time. He's ahead of all of the others. We are dry at the moment. I think we're expecting it to stay dry, if I'm not mistaken, for qualifying.
Yes, just about. The rain looks like it's guaranteed at quarter to 12 in sim time, which would put it well past the end of qualifying. So we're looking dry on the radar as well, so I'm feeling optimistic.
So, and then we've got a big time jump between end of qualifying and the warm-up, so we should expect it to be wet for warm-up and the race. But that's also going to add an interesting element to this race, because we're going to get drivers who may be quick in the dry qualifying ahead of drivers who are going to be quicker in those wet conditions. The drivers do know what the conditions are going to be in advance, so some people will have possibly tuned their setup towards the wet a little bit more. Bit deep there, Adam Jarvis.
I don't know where the... So, like, Le Mans is infamous for its slowdowns, particularly more than its 1Xs, but they are still off tracks, and I do believe they invalidate the lap time. And even if you get a lap, they don't invalidate the lap time, you still get a slowdown, right? You're not going to be happy about that.
Looking at the race log there, it looked like he got away with it, but he'll have scrubbed off a lot of speed trying to keep it within track limits, I imagine.
Yes. That's something to be careful as well. You cannot afford an invalidation on this lap, especially your next one. But really, you've only got 2 shots. You really want both of them to count.
Yeah, I mean, we're halfway through.
Be so careful.
Halfway through this GT3 session now, and perhaps what myself and Andy didn't take into account is that they will probably need more than a 2-minute changeover period. So we'll see how race control handle that one. We'll throw that to them, a little bit delayed. Obviously, the lap being, I think, nearly 4 minutes here in the GT3. If I'm not mistaken,
yes,
that 2-minute crossover period might not be quite enough for all of the drivers to get round, but I think that will leave a gap between themselves and the GTP. They should be all right to finish their final laps.
Yeah, I think the GTPs are only 30 seconds faster, and they should be far enough along the track. You would hope that it should be fine, but we'll find out. It could end up with someone in a very bad position, and I will laugh because I don't have to deal with the aftermath of whatever happens. I just get to sit here and yell.
Yeah, race control might end up being a little bit busy in the rain today. Le Mans isn't particularly the kind of track we'd expect to be at risk of having a safety car at any point during the race. It tends to be quite a lot of runoff, but with it being wet and the Porsche curves here, particularly in the GTP in the rain, being really, really difficult, and you can easily swing it round and get it blocked and block the track at possibly the only place on the whole track it could be blocked. So race control be on the lookout for that. Vincent Ossoms goes fastest of the 3 that across the line by 6 tenths now over Daniel Morphy. Ignis 8 tenths clear of Adam Jarvis in their fight. We'll show you the gaps to the leader rather than the intervals there. Vincent Ossoms quickest at the moment. Fabio Ponta gets close. It's good for Vincent in their title fight.
Ponta's going to want a little bit more. It's pretty close right now, considering that's a near 4-minute lap they're doing. Everyone's going to... Oh, it looks like some of the drivers staying on track. I believe Jarvis... I lost track of the cars, actually. And now it's just the waiting game of everyone bringing it all the way along the track. This is, again... How big is this track? I don't actually remember.
I don't know the track length off the top of my head.
Well, we have this thing called Google, so
excuse
me one moment.
Tends to give us the answers. Adam Jarvis will be disappointed. He's slowest of the drivers that have set a lap time. He is improving on this current lap, but he's still a couple of attempts off what Vincent Ossoms has done so far this round, but he's improving, so we'll be hoping to move himself up the order. Ignis a little bit closer to him, not quite as out of reach as he was at the last round. Obviously taking pole in the AM car, but overall pole in GT3, so that'll give Adam a bit of optimism for the race.
8.469 miles, according to racingcircuits.info.
So much longer than anywhere else we've been this season. Daniel Morphy on a fairly decent lap at the moment.
Race Control have also PM'd me a number, which is entirely wrong, so thank you for that, Andy. But yes. Where are we? So, Ossoms has a purple, Morphy has 3 greens, 4 greens, which bodes well for his lap time. Obviously, there's a lot of space to improve into. Round goes 91. Jarvis has to abandon that lap. probably abandon qualifying at this point.
Yeah, he's not going to get round again. Well, checker flag will fall at 14 minutes, 11:22. No, he won't make it round again, and he knows it. Pulled over, end of session for him. So, really, really costly mistake there. Won't be wanting that to happen again.
Yep, he's going to be starting this race way down the order, unfortunately. Currently 7th. There's a few drivers yet set times as well, Knuckle and Volcars. Oh, he's going out. That's 91, isn't it? Yes. So I don't actually. I believe it's you take the checkered and your qualifying session is done, isn't it?
I believe so. Yes, checkered and your qualifying session is done. So anybody that gets to the flag before the 14-minute mark, they will be able to go around and finish at lap time, I believe.
But crucially, Adam Jarvis has no hope of making it around the track that quickly. So, unfortunate for them, as they are, not the best starting position, unfortunately. But again, this is going to be a very interesting race start, considering the conditions we'll be in. It is going to be a single file start, just so we don't have to deal with the joy that is the Ford chicanes. But you're still going to be right up at the back against the people with a massive run down into the Mulsanne chicanes. So plenty of room for manoeuvring your way up and potentially down the order in the early running, as long as you can make it there, because again, that track is going to be treacherous in the early going. Alcaz comes through, sets lap time, 4 minutes, 0.6 is not really going to get him up the order, but Knuckle goes P5 with a 56.7. Oh, Villarejo has found the barrier through the Porsche curves, unfortunately. It's been invalidated a lap, and yep, he's going to just tow the car.
Session over for him, it seems, or he's not towed it yet. Race control will be wanting that car moved, and there we go. He's out of the car now. Kiko Lakaye.
He was very much off the track, to be fair. I think there was minimum damage he could do, but yeah, just get it off the track, make sure there's no chance of anything going on. So the checker flag flies. 71 of Charlie Lord. Going to set a lap time momentarily. Is Charlie on a lap time? Looks like he should be. He's approaching the line.
He should be, yes he is. Oh no. Very slow first sector. But no, this isn't out lap, I think, which means he won't make it to the line in time.
I don't have him as taking a pit stop on my end, but yeah,
no, there you go.
If it's
Pulls
not
over. Pulls in.
Yep, fair enough.
Well, you might as well go out for the sighter lap, it seems. Vincent Awesomes, though, can improve. And Fabio Ponta.
It's going to be wildly different when you take the track, so...
Yes, very true.
So now we have the fun job of waiting for these GT3s to make it around the final few corners here. 73 of Vincent Awesomes currently on the run down towards the Porsche curves. It's the lead car, but with a lot of yellow sectors. I'm not expecting a massive improvement out of that car.
Middle sector was pretty good compared to the cars ahead, but that first sector time, he was a couple of attempts off everyone else, so that's really going to knock him. Unless you can find some big improvements here.
GTP's being released. There's going to be no issue of overlap here. There they again have the entirety of the circuit to start the drive, so we will wait a moment before we see them. As Awesome navigates the final 4
That'll be an improvement. Don't think. No. Better chunk off his previous run. Oh no, it is an improvement. Ever so slightly. Moves him up to P2.
Ooh.
Next car to come across the line is going to be Luigi Nespolini. He's looking to improve, and he looks like he can improve as well. Lots of green on there. And he does improve.
Vincherevsky's chasing as well. Nespolini to 5th, excuse me. Vincherevsky's to 6th.
Critical move there, Vincerevsky's. That puts a car in between him and Adam Jarvis for the start. He'll want that. That title battle that we talked about, neither of them on pole. That'll close the gap. Well, not quite sure who was ahead in that battle, but that'll mean the gap grows or shrinks by less than we originally expected. Kiko Lakaya taking what I believe is a maiden pole. So congratulations to him by, say, a healthy margin. It's 3 temps, but 3 temps around a 4-minute lap time isn't quite as impressive as it is around somewhere like the Red Bull Ring.
But pole position is pole position. You have command of the start and a single file restart as well. That can be very commanding. As we see the GTP field now take to the track. 7 cars on track.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of mass involved, and in practice as well, Davide Favaro was particularly quick. So if he puts it on pole and wins a race, it changes the it changes everything and changes the maths a lot. So at the moment, we're just going to look at where those two finished and see how that plays out. Obviously, a lot can change in the race. Obviously, a lot can change in the race. Mohamed Colombo, a late exit from the pits. He left the pits already once, so I don't know why he's towed back.
No. Ooh, that is bizarre.
Leaving pits, he slowed down all of a sudden. Let's see if we can see why. Unsure. Possibly had the wrong tyres on.
Outstanding
so
manoeuvre.
Practice was wet, as I'm sure everybody. I think we covered that practice was wet, so everybody was aware and may have been running tyres and had them left on the car by default, possibly.
Verdonk is about to take the line. Now out on the first of potentially 2 qualifying laps.
10 minutes to go. About a 3-minute 20 lap time, there or thereabouts. Unless I'm mistaken, Kirby, you might know. I think you crew chiefed on a Le Mans race much more recently than I've driven one.
Yeah, so I think the fastest lap in our session was a 3:24. That was fairly low fuel run, fairly late into the night, so probably a bit higher than that. But either way, we're definitely looking at 3.5 minutes. It's a reasonable ballpark. 2
laps, really. Is that right? Got 10 minutes left. Three laps might be possible, depending on when iRacing kicks them out of the session.
It also depends when you want to take, if you want fresh set tyres on it or not.
Yeah. So there's 2 strategies here. There's run it round to the end and try and get an extra lap, or there's cool down lap, go again, but then you'll only get 2 flying laps, or there's
bump draft.
See some flashing lights in the distance. Davide Favare's had an incident as well. Let's take a look what happened here. Caught the curb on the inside, and then loses it. Pretty standard place to lose it in the GTP. Is that Jan Volmers, you said, had the...
Yes, with the bump draft. It's not where he was doing the bump draft.
Excuse the squiggling cars on the screen while we try and work out what happened, and it would be here. Let's try and go on board. Oh, that's not a be seen. Oh, God.
Prim's also had a spin. This is some FOV.
Oh, yeah. Just a tap there. Trying to take the most out of the
Maximum slipstream.
It's a strange incident to see. Oh, you can hear the car bottoming out of the bumps there.
So I don't actually know the rules for group qualifying in iRacing. Does that invalidate the lap?
Well, it didn't, because he didn't, according to iRacing, make contact. Whether
I call nonsense.
Yeah, I only say that because the there's no 1x showing up on our race control software, which means they didn't record a 1x. I don't know if it would record a 0x or not. It might have been a 0x contact. If it was a 0x contact, I believe that would invalidate the lap.
Yeah, as an NASCAR aficionado, that was absolutely a contact 0x. So,
in which case, I believe it would invalidate them.
Okay.
Quinton, obviously first driver to go around the lap, but still carrying a lot of the purple sectors. So far, he's just had that purple sector 6 stolen by Oysen Hereford. We can
Also,
finally see...
on a day where we have this massive title decider and we have the threat of rain, and we're sat here in the broadcast booth discussing the legality of bump drafting in IMSA. Oh, it's a wonderful day. Verdonk puts up a 22-3. Okay.
That's pretty impressive. Let's see where the others slot in. Sergio Sanchez Cachifiero slots in P2, 123 lap time, but I have to say, I think due to the number of mini sectors along this lap, that's the first time I've been able to see his full name on the bottom of the screen, which is nice to see. Oysen Hereford goes to P2, so advantage Quinton in the title fight as it stands, although the Porsche may struggle in the rain a little bit later on more than the Acura does, but as it dries out towards the end of the race, it may swing back towards Quinton, and obviously he'll be the first car around the lap, so he's going to be the only car that has no spray to contend with if he stays on pole position. Jan Volmers with a bit of an off lap time, probably due to that contact we saw him having. Still to take the flag this time round is Albert Preem, Davide Pavaro. In fact, both of them, that was an out lap, so they clearly both went back to the pits at some point on the original lap, so that's their out lap, and they're going to get 2 flyers in, it looks like. Mohamed Colombo, 3 sectors done, 4 sectors done. The driver who reset to the pits for some unknown reason, driving the Porsche in the Hertz Team Jota livery.
Supreme's approaching the line. This should easily slot into at least 4th, you'd have to believe.
I think this is an outlap for Preem, is it?
Oh.
Oh no, it's recorded as a proper lap.
Because he was on 4 minutes. Unless he invalidated. That would actually, if he had an issue or something.
He did 4 minutes, 4 seconds. He had a 94-second first sector.
I think he might have had an issue in the first sector.
Yes. You got a full black flag for this moment here, because he went to Notting World as well, but that wasn't the issue. The issue was, as I'm sure anybody who's driven Le Mans can tell, right there, he went all the way off the curbing on the outside of a track. Simon, did he disappear for you as well then?
I would have to go back and check.
Okay, that's alright. We'll leave it for now then.
Fair enough.
I'm just seeing a lot of not in worlds for Albert Preem in particular. I believe he might be having some connectivity issues, possibly due to the fact that we're at Le Mans. Still can't find him. Back in a bit. Is he in the pits for you as well?
Preem, let me have a look.
Believe he will be. But car number 16
He's on track.
just crossed the line. That's Mohamed Colombo with a slightly off the pace lap time.
0, yep.
Preem is now back out on track for me. after having
Good.
been back into the pits, I believe. It's going to hurt him
So
a
everything
lot.
should be fine. I think he's got enough time left in qualifying to at least get it round to take another flying lap.
It should get one. Let's hope the session doesn't time out on him as
massive
Mohamed
crash for
Colombo into the wall. Let's take a look at what happened there. Saw it on our second monitor. Oh, in the same place that we saw Favaro have his incident. Start of his lap so easy there. If you catch the... Let's take a look at it from on board. It's if you just catch this inside curb on the right side, you can see too much and it can launch you. And then, yeah, it's just understeered a little bit too much actually there. Not got too unsettled by the curb. Not got the front end he was expecting on his Porsche. Davide Favaro looking to set a pretty impressive lap time here. 3 purples, 3 greens. It should be a time that could put him to the top of the leaderboard and complicate that title fight if he does go to pole position. Oh no!
Oh, never mind.
Into the wall out of the final corner. That'll be last on the grid for Davide Favaro. He's got 3 minutes. Less than that, sorry. 2 minutes 40. He's not going to make it round to take the flag before the checkered falls. So it'll be P7 on the grid for Davide Favaro.
I feel so bad for him, but that camera angle's perfect. That was a true exit stage left moment. He just tries to get too aggressive, gets the curbing, and though this car does not like the sausage curbs they use on that final bit of chicane, you have to be so careful around there, especially because it tightens up a lot on that second one. And you just get spat out. And
take another look at it here from the chopper. All over that curve.
No chance of saving it.
So difficult around Le Mans. You get all the way around your lap time and you're setting good sectors and you're pretty pleased with what you're doing, and then you get to the what we call the Ford chicanes and kind of get a bit ambitious and you don't know whether to go for it or back off a little bit, and it's a really difficult decision, and most of the time you spend too much time thinking about it and it's too late and you catch the curbs a little bit too much. Those sausages there can really send you off and ruin a good lap.
Especially because the second chicane is a lot tighter than the first one as well. So you go through the first one, like, okay, I can go so hard. No, you need to back down significantly to be able to make it properly. So it's an unfortunate end to qualifying for Favaro, but...
Jan Volmers is the only driver to have improved on their second lap, but I believe they've just had a small incident.
They just ran right into the gravel. It's Indianapolis.
Mistake to do, but that's lap time invalidated. It's a good way to get away with it in the race, but in qualifying, that's lap over, and now be session over, I believe. They might just make it to the flag, but I don't think they'd have time to then finish the lap time before the session timed out.
Oh yeah, because there's a 3-minute timeout, isn't there? I forgot about that detail. Well, race against the clock then for Volmers, but I'm not optimistic about its chances.
Albert Preem is starting a flyer now. This is Sector 1.
The car does look so good through that first sector, though.
And that's how you keep it legal. Which they do. Sanchez looking to improve with 3 greens, 2 yellows and 1 purple. What can they do as they come to the line now? Let's take a look. Careful through the chicane. He is. Checkered flag has fallen, so this will be it for Sanchez. Improvement. Stays P4. It does improve the lap time.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that probably puts him in a secure 4th. Where's Preem on the track? He is currently on the second part of the Mulsanne.
Royston Hereford bails to the pit lane. Knew the improvement wasn't coming. Winter Madonk is on a lap time, but I'm not sure if they'll be able to complete it due to the timeout. We'll see where they get. Albert Preem is the only driver who I can see, the only other driver who I can see who's likely to finish the lap. And is that rain?
Oh, that is rain on the camera. Let me zoom in the map, and you can see it's currently raining in Sector 1. It should not matter. Even if it starts raining on Porsche curves, which it looks like it might do a little bit, the track should stay dry enough that the GTPs can handle it. but it's a little spooky.
Let's go on board into the cockpit, and there's no rain on the dashboard, and I think Albert Preem had made it through those first couple of sectors, and he had done with a pretty decent sector 1 time, actually quicker than everybody else in the top of those that have actually set a lap time and done it. Didn't quite match Davide Favaro's sector 1, but it was good enough for the quickest time. Other than that, they're not too bad in sector 2, a little bit off the other guys. I wonder if he caught that rain a little bit. Not bad for the rest of the lap, so we'll see where he slots in. He'll be aiming to at least best Mohamed Calambo and hopefully Sanchez as well.
Huge lock of steering through the Mulsanne.
Bit of rain on the dashboard now.
Okay, the remaining time I have in sim shows he should be able to finish the lap, but yeah, this rain is coming in thick and fast. Actually, you can see it's progressing quite rapidly, a lot more faster than I thought it would do onto the track. Porsche curves are going to be fine for the 67 Volvo Preem, but they're going to get dicey, I think.
Nothing here to lose for Albert Preem, so he might as well send it. Apologies for all the connection issues that we're seeing with Preem's car.
Verdonk's pulled over.
Verdonk probably knew there was no improvement, and he's on pole anyway. Albert Preem probably isn't going to be able to best it. He struggled a little bit, possibly due to the rain or possibly due to just only actually getting one flying lap, so maybe being a bit careful. He'll be looking to slot in P5. Crosses a time, and he does that. A little bit off the pace of the others, but still important to get that lap time in. And actually, the only driver that has had some decent dampish running. And the only driver that's running this session in changeable conditions. We are expecting to see it dry out towards the end of next race, so could be some valuable learning.
See, driving on a wetting track, I think, is okay. Driving on a drying track is the scary one, because you are on the slow tyre for that. We expect this rain to take over the track at this point, to the point where we're expecting everybody to start the rain on the wets. And when that track starts drying out, it's going to be a question of when do you come in to put the dries on. We are using the standard ASR IMSA rule set, which involves the reduced fuel tank, so you'll probably be taking a pit stop before the 25-minute mark. But importantly, this is a 3.5-minute, 4-minute lap, depending on which category you're in. So you need to make sure you make the right call, because if you get on the wrong tyres, you're on the wrong tyres for 4 minutes.
And if you're
lose so much lap time.
If you're half a minute behind somebody, but that means you make the pit call at the right time, you can easily make that time back up if you're able to switch to the dry. I know it doesn't seem to make that much sense, but if you're able to switch to the dry 30 seconds later, because actually it's dried out a little bit more for you going through sector 1 than it had for everyone else, and it's that sort of dampness around the whole track, you can make up that 30 seconds on that lap, even though you have pitted and were behind them. You could easily end up passing them on that lap as well. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the strategies play out. If you're in at the front, you've got the most to lose, and if you've at the back, you've got nothing to lose. So those title fights as well are going to be interesting. If you're running second and you know that's not enough to win the title, you might as well risk it. Particularly if it's getting towards the end of the race. At the start of the race, middle of the race, you'll be kind of hoping that the other driver has an incident, or that you pass them, obviously. As we get towards the latter stages, you might try something a bit riskier.
Very true. Another thing is, like, where does the dry line form for the most part as well? This is probably going to be a very single file track, and if you have to hit GT3 track, then you have to go into the wet line on dry tyres. Are you able to handle it? Like, there aren't that many GT3s in this field, but they are still there, and then you will still have to pass them at some point in proceedings. So it's going to be very difficult for these drivers to navigate, I feel. As you see the time skip has come out. We are very much in a wet track for our warm-up here as we go into our qualifying results. For the GT3 category, it is Kiko Lakali, who will be on pole for Go Esports. Vincent Awesome's points leader for Pro? Yes. Trackspot ID Sports going to line up P2, ahead of championship rival Fabio Ponta for 07 Racing. Daniel Morphy will come in 4th, ahead of Luigi Lespolino. Ignas Vincherevski's, again, in that AM title fight with Adam Jarvis. He'll have Dominic Knuckle behind him, and then Adam Jarvis comes in 8th. Jose Villarejo will be 9th, ahead of Charlie Lord and Alvaro Valcas, who has just been awkwardly clipped off the bottom of this timing sheet will start from 11th place.
Apologies, we'll
Confirmation
jump
race
to the next
control,
page.
all
There you
entrants are in, and in the correct car.
GTP qualifying results, so Quinton Verdonk took pole position ahead of his championship rival Oystein Hereford. Jan Volmers started in P3, not far off the other guy. Sergio Sanchez started in P4 in the Cadillac. Albert Primo only got one lap in the end, slotted P5. Mohamed Colombo P6, only one lap time as well, and a little bit further back off the pace. Davide Favaro looked good for pole until the final part of the Ford chicanes, where he clobbered all of the second exit curb and sent him flying off into the wall. So he'll be looking to make progress in the race. Crucially, Quinton Verdonk will be the only driver on the whole grid, potentially the GT3 pole sitter, depending on how big a gap they lead, to have a clear track ahead of them.
Very true, and that's going to be very important on this first lap. Because you can see that these conditions are not ideal at the moment. I don't know how much time skip there is between sessions.
Right, everyone, as your reminder, first of all, we are doing a single file start, so we would like everyone to form up in a single file line entering the Ford chicane. Finally, as your weekly reminder, your race will not start on green flag, your race will start when the leader goes in the start zone. Thank you.
Race control, Andy Tatman there, just making sure everyone has their information. But yeah, if you are the chasing cars in the pack, you're going to get these massive drafts down the Mulsanne straight, and maybe you can make a move, maybe you can't, but it will be the lead car who basically has control of the field down there. And if you're in a bad position, say you're on a wetter part of the track than you were expecting, or you're trying to go a bit deeper, you're the one that's going to primarily be in danger through these corners. So it's going to be very scary to see. Like, you see how much the car there of Volmers is how to move out of the way just to get around these GT3s. If it's GT3 traffic, if it's GTP traffic, you need to get across. I'm very worried actually for Davide Favaro, who starts at the back of the field. He is a very fast driver, and he's definitely out of position at the start, and he's going to definitely wanting to make a lot of moves early on a track that's not going to be conducive to that kind of progression. So
yeah, light rain at the moment on the track, and it is going to get a little bit heavier later on, I believe. So we'll see how the cars fare. Although worth noting out, we did stretch the gap between the two sessions, so it has been raining for a while, so a lot of water has been deposited on the track, and these guys are all out in warm-up. We don't normally see this many cars jumping out in warm-up, and they're all out in warm-up to probably try and clear the track of the rain a little bit, because it will
rain, but also
probably get drier before it gets wetter. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like,
they've just driven in the dry for half an hour.
And I don't think the conditions are going to evolve much beyond this. This is probably the worst weather they'll have to actually drive in. I imagine it will be maybe a bit worse at the start, but the weather should clear fairly quickly and the track will start drying. So you'll probably be about this condition for the actual racing. As
Spinner in front and Adam Jarvis, and that just shows how interesting this race is going to be, because he's a championship leader, I believe, at the moment, or runner-up. I think he's the leader of the two.
Jarvis is the leader.
Yeah, so Adam Jarvis is the leader of those two cars, and you've just seen what's happened. So Ignis starting on pole ahead of him, and if that was to happen to Ignis, then you know, it swings it really in Jarvis's way, and Jarvis pulls into the pit lane now, probably practicing the pit entry in the wet, which some drivers may not have done yet.
It's probably not going to be this bad when you come into the pits, because hopefully the track should be drying when you come in for a pit stop, meaning it'll be a bit smoother, a bit more grip in the track. You can push a little harder. At that point, you're probably thinking about putting it on the dry. It's just a question of when does that happen. See what the time skip here is like as we go into our race session.
So race control just confirming there for us on screen a couple of seconds ago that it will be a single file start, and so that means the cars will single file through the chicanes, and then the leader will go, and that's probably most sensible. I believe they will be allowed to pack up after the chicane, but obviously with the class size has been slightly smaller, probably due to the weather and this being the final round. We have sold half the entries for next season, so if you want to join us next season, make sure to grab your entry as soon as possible before they all sell out. But I think the rain has probably scared a few drivers off today, so their leader may well go before most of the other cars are out of the chicane.
There was a brief joke about putting me in the Toyota Camry Next Gen for this race. I'm glad I chose not to do it, because I think that car in these conditions would be terrible, quite frankly.
Yeah, no rain tyres for that car at the moment.
Also true.
That would have been very interesting. I was talking to Andy, our race director, the other day, actually, and said that iRacing really need to get that Garage 56 NASCAR into iRacing, because I think about half of everyone on iRacing would purchase that to drive it in this event.
It is a completely different spec to the current next gens, with a lot more focus on being an actual race car as opposed to a bathtub with a V8. It is a fun bathtub, but it merely has the suggestion of brakes, unfortunately. Either way, we have 7 GTPs, 12 GT3s lining up through the Porsche curves now. Moments away from what is potentially going to be an explosive race.
So lots of drivers thinking they had a race. Sanchez said it was on for pole until he made a mistake in the Porsche curves on his previous on his qualifying run. Obviously Davide Favaro was on for pole until that mistake on his qualifying run. So plenty of drivers all looking for the win today, and some of them not championship contenders in terms of going for the title. Some of them definitely contenders for other positions, but a lot of them will just be going for that win, especially around Le Mans in an LMH car, LMDH, most of these actually. That's all of these cars.
So then, we've hit a small break in the rain, but it should resume shortly, at least for another 15-10 minutes. So we'll see how bad the track gets. But you can see how soaked it is just on the spray and through the slow section. Verdonk will lead them through the 4 chicanes one time, and then the race will be on.
See the GT3s in the background getting ready to go as well. But Quinton Verdonk is going to be smart here, surely, and go as quickly as possible. And he looks to have done, but it's slightly hard. No, he waits. And Davide Favaro getting squirmy in the back as he puts the power down. Quinton Verdonk is going to lead into turn 1 as the drivers separate out a little bit in the spray. Turn 1 is going to be really interesting, though. Let's keep our eyes on these cars. The GT3s are just about to make their start, so we'll quickly switch to them as Davide Favaro makes a move at the back. Kiko Lacalle.
Fiera's off track.
Kiko Lacalle has gone for Paul Sanchez with a mistake in turn 1 and 2. Kiko Lacalle going to try and lead through turn 1, and it looks like he will. The GT3 is behind, facing a little bit more spray. Adam Jarvis, obviously 1 place behind his rival as it stands. He'll be looking to make gains on the start. Ignis is making gains. Nespolini out of shot there. He's gone round. Ignis only 1 place ahead of his championship rival still. I think he tried to make a move. I don't know if, in fact, he was. Ignis involved in that incident with Nespolini and Knuckle, it looks like. At least it was caught by race controls software as such. He might have just had a 1x at the same time. Now, we did have a 4x, so this could be crucial for Ignis if he's going to be penalised here. He needs to make big progress as it stands. Let's take a look at the incident. Oh, I think no, it's spinning ahead before the contact,
yeah,
it looked like.
Especially in these conditions, if you're Ignis, I don't think there's anywhere you could reasonably expect to go. To the left is a ramp that will launch you into gravel, and to right is the path of the car you're trying to avoid. I don't think there was a good option there. I think he just made the best out of a bad situation. I would expect that to be ruled a racing incident, but I'm not sure. Obviously, race control are going to have more of a look at it than I will.
Ponta was looking for the lead in GT3.
Preems had a weird moment through the second Mulsanne. I don't think it was an incident, though.
Adam Jarvis has lost a place. Not sure how that happened. Let's take a look. It was going into the chicane, and it was Carlos Villarrejo on the inside. But the Mustang
this is
struggling
just a
as
straight
it
up.
stands.
Yeah. I have more speed than you, and I'm going to brake. Even if I brake at the same time as you, I have the advantage on the inside here. Slides in front. Easy as you like.
Offline in the rain as well. Probably had a little bit more grip on in the braking zone than his rival there.
Oh, true. We can see just the massive line that GT3s could form in these early goings just because of the power of the draft.
Sanchez still trying to make his way back round Mohamed Colombo after he spun out in turn 2. We'll take a look at that incident shortly. Fabio Ponta has taken the lead. Oh no, he's going to go deep, and Mohamed's going to fight back on the outside line for the next corner. Sanchez, oh, and they do make contact there. What was Colombo doing? What the
hell was that? What the hell was that? I'm going to reserve judgment until I get a second camera angle. It looked like Colombo just tried for like the Giga squeeze on the inside of the corner. I'm not entirely sure why.
Take a look, see if we can see it a little bit better here. Yeah, he definitely comes across there.
What the hell was that, Colombo? Oh my word. Okay.
Race control will
I'm glad nothing bad came of it. But I can't imagine that Cacciavera is going to be happy about that one. Either way, the move was made.
I believe this was the... No. This the incident? No. Can't find the place where Sanchez lost a lot of time, but I believe it's in turn 2. Fabio Ponta has taken the lead as well.
Colombo's just got past Varro again. We'll have this replay first, which just looks to be later on the brakes. Thank you very much. Oh, car in the wall. Daniel Morphy in the corners in Porsche curves. Looks to be offline. We might get away with it.
Race control not calling the caution.
Yep, everyone's past. He was very much offline there. It was pretty safe, but certainly not a good day for Daniel Morphy.
Just seen how Fabio Ponta took the lead, and he's leading still, and he's gained about a second on his rival. What happened to Davide Favaro? He made it back to the pits with that meatball. Let's see if we can work out where he went off track, and it's here.
That's Favaro, okay.
Oh, in the exit of the Porsche curves. No. Oh. Very, very similar to what he did at Road America, right next to the pit entry, though.
Well, he didn't collect anyone, actually, but does get away with it just about.
He's going to come in, take his fast repair, and then probably try and do only 2 more stops, only 1 more stop after this, like he would have done before. So he's going to need to do some fuel saving. The rain will help with that.
It would be you'd have to do a pretty decent chunk of fuel save, especially around Le Mans as well. You're on throttle for a lot of the track. Here's Morphy's incident. I think he might have got spooked by the car in front of him that might have thrown him off slightly. But yeah, you can just see once you get 2 sideways there. Like, I can't tell he's in front of Morphy there, but you can see like they're very sideways, and Morphy just ends up going more sideways and can't recover the car.
Trying to get the onboard. Car in front went sideways and clipped the barrier, did they?
Oh, that would straighten out the car, actually. Probably not good for the health of the car, but would certainly recover the angle, as Favaro has, in fact, retired, unfortunately.
Daniel Morphy looking to recover, but he's 6 seconds off the back of the pack now. Davide Favaro, like you said, now out of the race. They crashed again after their exit. Trying to make up for the lost time.
Cold tires in the rain. I have a bad feeling about what's about to happen here. Oh! And that'll be damage to the rear end. That's very much unsettled the car. And he's like, well, I've got no fast repair now.
Take a look at the off-board. That's not an off-board. There we go. I think he's going to just use a little bit too much of a curb on the outside as well. No, just loses it mid-corner.
You want to carry speed, but you also don't want to go off track. Yep, lose the rear wing. As Carlos Villarrejo's gone off at the second Mulsanne. No major incident there. Unstable coming in, and he's got no hope of recovering at that point, yeah. Does a good job of getting it stopped.
That puts Adam Jarvis back directly behind Ignis. No penalty for Ignis, as we expected, for that lap 1 incident. But that does help Adam Jarvis a little bit. He's got some clean air now to try and catch his rival 5 seconds back. But this is the time to make an impact. Quinton's not letting...
currently hounding Jan Volmers through the Porsche curves.
All over the back of him. He's going to go for a move round the outside. Surely not.
There's no space here. You don't have the speed overlap. He's going to dive.
Going to go down the inside.
No, surely not.
Backs out. Thinks the better of it. Shows his nose, though. He's going to try and set it up here for turn 1.
But Herfield has the lead of Verdonk for now.
Not quite got the straight line speed, it looks like, in the Accurate, unfortunately.
I mean, you say it looks like it, but I can't see anything because it's just a massive cloud of spray.
Vincent Ossoms all over the back of Kiko Lakaya here because he can see his championship right. Sorry, is this Dominic Knuckle? This is Dominic Knuckle all over Vincent Ossoms, I believe.
Yes.
But Ossoms can see his rival streaking away from Kiko Lakaye. 5 seconds nearly, he's clear. Albert Preem's now past Jan Volmers, I think. They're still battling it out.
They're 3
and
wide.
They're 3 wide.
Oh, my word. Preem just about slides in front. Dramatic display there, down into the first Mulsanne chicane.
Chopper chasing the 3 of them down the straight. What's happened to
Almost
Quinton
nice to the
Verdonk?
outside.
How's Quinton Verdonk dropped into this battle? Verdonk's had a moment.
They're just about keeping it together, but they are rubbing right now.
What happened to
You know what I
Quinton
was saying about
Verdonk?
bump drafting earlier? They are bumping it everywhere else as well. Here's the moment for
Oh,
Verdonk.
Quinton
He
Verdonk
just-
got loose and got a slowdown. Let's take one more look at that, because you'll just be able to see him loose mid-corner. And then with the slowdown, yeah, it's really going to hurt him. And Jan Volmers and Albert Preem are still batting it out as Preem goes into the runoff.
And I believe that is an automatic slowdown as well, as you have to take that awkward chicane through the tyre wall there. That battle, unfortunately, then put on hold.
Yeah, but they've not pulled that far ahead.
Adam Jarvis.
Lord through on Jarvis.
You can see they're offsetting lines from each other, just trying to find some clean track to work with. Don't want to have to deal with the massive amount of spray on your windshield. As you approach Mulsanne off the tobacco Tetcherouge, though, that's a huge advantage for Jarvis. Dives it to the inside. Says, no, I'm taking this, you can't stop me.
He's going to try and...
Both in Fords, so should be even engines, and it should be advantage Jarvis.
He's going to have that inside line, and he doesn't even need it, actually, for the braking zone. He pulls ahead, slots back in front, but that's going to give Lord the slipstream to perhaps have another go into the braking zone, because Lord's a guy who was trying to get past and wasn't able to make it work, so clearly has the speed advantage at the moment on Adam Jarvis. And Jarvis goes into the runoff, goes deep, and Lord goes off the track!
Well. What is going on?
Lord is off. Jarvis gets back on the track without having to do the full run off, so he's going to be able to get back up to speed quickly. They both lost time. Lord has lost out the most, so Charlie Lord now a long way off of Adam Jarvis after that mistake, so going to have to settle back in and build up the gap again. And Adam Jarvis lost a lot of time as well to his championship rival Ignis, who's streaking away with it at the moment. And if he wins this race, I believe that will give him the title. So 2 seasons in a row, he would be champion if he wins this again. Lord gets loose in the corner again. Trying to get a camera angle on Lord. There you go, he's going back round again. Gosh, unfortunate sequence of events for Lord. He was looking really impressive just a few laps ago. Just a few corners ago, in fact.
This is the risk of trying to fight cars you're not actually in championship battle with, though, as you make mistakes like going a little too deep on the corner. And you can see now Jarvis P9, his championship rival P5, the massive time difference between them as Knuckle
Knuckle makes the move
love tap on entry.
And Knuckle makes the move on Kiko Lakai, who's dropped back after that impressive pole position, struggling in the rain a little bit. The Ferrari's looking good as usual in the race, but perhaps working a little bit better in the wet than the BMW.
Have we settled down? Have we all got it out of our system? GTP field is still reasonably tight up at the front of the pack.
Albert Preem with a mega first sector, 7 times quicker than the car ahead, and the purple sector 1 for the race so far. He's looking to make a move here on Sanchez, so Albert Preem really disadvantaged by that poor qualifying performance, but the Acura working well in the rain. Jan Volmers is all over the back of Oysten Hereford for the lead as well, and Quinten Verdonk is quickly catching back up, so he's looking to perhaps make a move. As Albert Preem has to back out of it momentarily.
No hope of making that move. He's way too far back. I think he's just showing his nose, trying to get some visibility of where the corner
Charlie
is.
Lord had
else.
another incident, or is this the one we've already seen?
Charlie.
I think this is one we've already seen.
I would guess this is just him getting a bit deep into second Mulsanne again. Oh, just tries to go in too soon. Can't take it.
And he clobbers a wall, and I think he's out. He's showing. Nope, not out. No, he's carrying on. Dominic Knockel has had an incident and has retired from the race. So let's see what happened here. He was chasing down Vincent Ossoms for P2 in the race.
This is loose. No, this is Porsche. Excuse me.
Porsche curves. Gets back going again now, but stops a car and retires.
Huh.
Very bizarre. Ignis setting the fastest lap time of the GT3 cars.
Polino just got Livefield Orejo.
And this top three, very, very close now. Quinten Verdonk is the third in the trail, but he's right on the back of Jan Volmers, and Jan Volmers is right on the back of his teammate, Oysten Hereford. Surely Volmers going to help his teammate in the championship here and not go for the lead and just try and keep Quinten at bay for as long as possible.
Yeah, Quinten, this really sucks, because not only is stuck behind two teammates, you're stuck behind two teammates on an extremely wet track. You could see how much spray they're kicking up, and he's going to have next to no visibility coming into any section of this track.
And I tell you what, I don't think Volmers is holding back, because he's gaining on his teammate, looking for a way by. It's going to be difficult on the entry to the Porsche curves. Offsetting his car, making it really clear to his teammate where he's going to go, and he thinks the better of it. Albert Preem looks to have had a small incident, but I'm not quite sure what happened there, because he lost a couple of seconds. Really, the rain really coming down now.
Can't really afford to make a move in the Porsche Canes, unfortunately. Like, they're just too wet right now. The grip is not going to be there to run side by side. You'll lose so much time, and you have to remember they're trying to keep Verdonk behind them.
I think we're about...
So they're going to play it sensibly. If they want to swap positions, they'll do it on the Mulsanne. I suspect they won't, but right now it's just going to be a case of just trying to maintain these positions as best they can.
Volmers has backed off a little bit now. Preem is into the pit lane. I believe that was a scheduled stop about 15 minutes into the race. Perhaps for a new set of wet tyres to see out the rain and the damp track. But then you go into the cold tyres.
You'd be on cold dries, which I think is fine if you time that properly. Obviously, the rain's going to stop in about 15 minutes. That's going to track to be dry 15 minutes. Does track dry out in 25 minutes is the question. I don't have an answer. I suspect the answer might actually be no. I would want to run this.
I think we might get a drying line. So you might be alright if you're on one very specific bit of the racetrack and nowhere else. He's going for the move here. Quinten Verdonk has been passed by Jan Volmers, because Oysten Hereford has dropped to P3. What's happened there?
Yes.
Have a look what happened to Oysten Hereford. Oh, he got loose! We just saw it there. Loose and wide. He's kept the car pointing in a straight line.
Tetra Rouge claims another victim. They say you cut the course. We need to slow down and serve a time penalty.
Let's take a look at what happened.
Oh, he goes deep.
He goes deep a little bit earlier on.
Called.
The corner where we've seen a few drivers get loose. And then he's going to go into here, and I think he's heated up the rears a little bit too much, maybe. Oh. Well, was this... Ah, this may be in a couple of laps ago. Ah, here we go. This is what happened this lap. Oh, he's just a little bit deep. We're going to swiggle it back and pretend no one saw that. Oh, cut the grass on the outside.
Big off.
Yeah. Kept it pointing in a straight line. That's what matters the most, but he's being passed by his championship rival and by his teammate. Quinton Verdonk will now be looking to put some time between the two of them. And I'll tell you what, that's not his biggest struggle right now, because Sanchez is looking for the move for P3 on track.
So they're still relatively close to each other, which means you'll still have the draft on all the straights, and these are not small straights, as is notorious here at Le Mans.
Ignis looking for the move on Kiko Lakaye to move himself further ahead of Adam Jarvis, who's already about 15 seconds behind him.
So I think GT3s will probably pit end of this lap, just based on what I think their fuel tank's going to be doing. They have to save a lot to go another lap on top of that, especially a track like this, where even if it's in the way, you're still powered for a lot of the track. So, see what they can make of it, but I'm not optimistic about their fuel numbers.
There's going to be some serious saving needed.
Yeah, I would say bolt on another set of wet tyres if you're going to change tyres, or maybe don't take tyres at all. That's just it. Stay on wets, whatever you do. And then as this track dries, you'll get a feel of when you might actually want to bolt on a pair or a set of dry tyres towards the end of this race, and hopefully it'll be in the window where you can make it on fuel to get to the end of the race. But you give yourself a larger window to work with, where you're not forced to try and save fuel on that last stint if it dries up super quickly for some bizarre reason.
So update from race control. Update from race control is Adam Jarvis will win the title unless Ignis finishes first or second in AM, which at the moment he's doing quite comfortably.
Yes.
Obviously, it's wet. He can quite easily have an instant and knock him out of that. And just a reminder to everyone that's watching, Oyston and Quinton are in the pit lane. The teammates pit. In fact, they're not the teammates, are they?
No.
These are the leaders.
This would be scheduled. This is about when you'd want to make the fuel window. You can maybe do another lap, but that might be pushing it on fuel. But yeah, this is about when you'd expect them to come in, I would say.
Bolmers has carried on. We've seen positions decided in the pit lane on stop time, so these two are going to have to be right on their marks, and it looks like they are. No one taking tyres. Like we discussed before, those warm tyres are going to be more helpful than a fresh set, it looks like.
I would agree with that, especially when the track is going to be as cold as it is. Going to take a while for them to come up to temperature. As long as they're not too warm, you're probably going to be fine.
Just a reminder to everyone that's watching, if you're liking this, don't forget to head to the link in the description and sign up to join us in Season 7. All 4 classes are going to be back, GTP, Pro and AM. So lots and lots of prizes to compete for. Quinton Verdonk stays then ahead of Oyston Hereford.
Yep, I have them as a line-to-line time of 54 seconds for the pair of them. Preem and Colombo came in the lap prior with 51-second stops. So interesting to see the difference there. Presumably they need more fuel in the car just to go that extra lap. And we have Volmers and Sanchez Cachifiero still on track. They'd probably go for a longer stop to get more fuel in the car.
Preem, though, he's not been slow because he's on the back of these guys now, and these were the leaders a few laps ago. In fact, Preem looks like he's getting ready to make the move here. Sanchez has had an incident as well. We'll take a look at that in a moment. I
can't see where he is.
Look for the headlights. Look for the headlights. He pops out. Is he going to go for a switch? He is going to go for the grippier line into the braking zone, and he can't make it move. Let's take a look at what happened to Jose Carlos Villarejo a few laps ago, a few moments ago. Goes deep and just gets loose, but actually, considering the incidents we've seen with some other people, it's not gone badly for him. Sanchez lost a couple more seconds into the second Mulsanne chicane. You can see he gets loose on the exit and on the entry, and makes a smart decision actually to bail and go straight. So smart thinking there from Sergio. He's probably saved himself a big incident like what we saw Charlie Lord have a few laps ago.
I think he just locks up the front tyres. They just don't want to
Bream's
turn.
passed.
The car doesn't want to do anything. Oh, very nice.
Big implications here for Oyston because he's now going to drop to P4 and we expect Quinton to inherit the lead once again after the pit stops. Well, we'll see where Volmers comes out. Actually, he was leading, but would expect him to be either in P1 or P2, and this is going to drop Oyston down the order even more. We've seen where they've come out. Let's see how it went down on the inside.
Just a really good run through the first chicane, and then he just has the speed. Like, there's not much more to say on the matter. He just has the speed.
Yeah, Albert Preem looking really impressive. Struggled in qualifying, like we said, but mega race pace. Race-winning race pace right now. He is the pace setter.
Let's go to live images. You can see these look distinctly bright in that replay we just showed. The track is... The clouds are starting to pass. We're in sort of the edge of the weather, as you can see on the radar there. Preem's not done. He's closing right up.
Oh, and he's had a moment. That's really going to cost him. Spins the car back round, gets going, but that has lost him one position and the chance to go on to essentially the lead on this strategy. Volmers is in the pit lane now. Just entered in. So
I'm so sorry for that commentary curse. That was such a bad moment.
It was, but given the pace he's shown, he'll be right back on the others. He was seconds quicker than a lot of other cars in some sectors. He'll be right back on the back of these guys once he's built that confidence back up. So the donk coming through the Porsche Kers now, the exit of the Porsche Kers, while his rival for the race win as it stands and teammate of his championship rival Jan Volmers is currently in the pit lane. We saw 53 seconds was the pit lane time for Quinton de Donk. Jan Volmers is currently stationary, as is Sanchez. Sanchez with mega pace as well, the quickest lap of the race so far by some margin as well compared to the other cars on track. Albert Preem, the only one that's within a second of him for that pace. So Sanchez showing that mega race pace as well. He talked about his quali pace in the driver's room. And Jan Volmers is going to come out of the pit lane. And that's Quinton de Donk going for the move down the inside on the teammate of his championship rival. Turns to outside and he's got the grip on the exit. The tyres a little bit more warm. Being sat in the pit lane does cool them down. It's not much, but it does make a difference. I believe Albert Preem's had another moment as well in turn one.
Yes. It's just not going Preem's way. He has the pace in hand, but he just can't keep the car underneath him right now. Disappears off the face of the planet, only to reappear.
Believe it was he fighting for the position into turn one. He was.
Oh,
Maybe gets a bit ambitious. Caught the curb.
Exit.
The rear left was on the curb when he hit the anchors. He's got away with it, pretty much so, again.
But like, that's just really unfortunate timing. If the car's there on pit exit, it's like you have to take that outside line, and that's just not somewhere you're going to be comfortable braking, because why would you be there?
Oyston will be wanting his teammate to move aside now, surely. Adam Jarvis, by the way, not yet pitted. We're at 25 minutes, and he's now ahead of Ignis due to the fact that he's not pitted by 8 seconds. Ignis has pitted. So, what is... Sorry, it's more than 8 seconds. It's about 12 seconds.
Like, Jarvis has to pit this lap, though.
Jarvis has done some mega fuel saving in the past, so we've seen him do the one stop when others can't. Or is he hoping to short stop his rival in that final stop? But that's a big short stop for the time he's lost now. Surely he's not going to try and go to half race distance.
Because you need to put another set of wets whatever you do, and then you presumably need to switch to dries at some point. I think you're forced to take a two-stop by the fact of the weather. You can see the clouds are just about past the racetrack at this point in time.
Maybe he's
so the track
assuming it's not going to dry up enough for dries? Because he's not going to make it to a dry enough track for dries, although look how quickly that track is drying up now the sun's on it.
It's a question of how drivable it becomes, obviously. It's easy for us to sit here and say, oh, the track will do this and that. But these are the guys on the track right now that are trying to deal with these conditions, so it's going to be for them to decide what to do. So yeah, the rain has just pretty much all gone at this point. We're not expecting any more rain for the rest of this race.
So, yeah, dry for the rest of the race. Now, Adam Jarvis has got a decision to make. Such a long lap here. He won't. It'll be in this time, and if it's in this time, it is going to be 2 more stops. And if he makes it round 1 more lap, it'll be just 1 stop. So what does he do? Is he going to bail for the pit lane? We'll see in just a second. Does he hang left here? Left of the screen, that is. No, he stays out for another lap. No, he doesn't. That's my eyes playing trick on me. He's in the pit lane, so he will have to make 1 more stop at the end of the race unless he does some mega fuel saving. And now what's going to be critical, let's see if we can throw the tyres up for you on screen. I believe we can do that. Yes, we can. Everyone on wets. What's Adam Jarvis going to do? We'd assume stay on wets, but he's got a decision to make.
If he puts on a pair of dries, he is either clinically insane or the greatest driver of our generation. There is no middle ground. Either way, you can see GT3 traffic now becoming a factor for the leaders of the GTP field. Vollmer's just trying to make sure they get caught up. Oh, huge moment into the chicane. But just managed to keep the car pointed forwards. But does get checked up a little bit by, who is that? Daniel Morphy. Which, again, no fault of Morphy's. He's driving a GT3 for a very slow section of the track, trying to keep it forwards himself. And it's just Vollmer's that has to find the space to make the move when there's just none there. It's just a factor of multi-class racing at Le Mans.
I'm surprised he hasn't been on the radio asking his teammate to move out of the way. Oystein Herford, that is, because Jan Vollmer's currently sits in between him and his championship rival.
Presumably Herford would need to get there, and he's just so far not been able to close up the distance. It's been a fairly respectable gap to the point where actually I think both of them would rather have the slipstream of the donk. Just have Vollmer's get the slipstream of the donk, so he's constantly in front of Herford, so Herford can comfortably get draft as well, and they're not checking up each other coming into corners. So they have another run down into first Mulsanne chicane. No traffic for a little bit here, so there's got a bit of space to work in, but they'll quickly catch up to the back of the next GT3s, and that's when the racing is really going to get intense. Now, through all of that, where did Jarvis cycle out to? He has put on a set of wet tyres, but he has fallen all the way back down into 9th. And Vincerevski's currently scored 3rd, so very good day out for the AM driver. But for Jarvis, he's got a lot of work to do right now. We will have a good pit stop next time by. He was 53 seconds on that stop to everyone else's sub 40 though. 48s, 49s across the board there for the most part of the GT3 field. So, going to be interesting to see how this final stop cycles out, if indeed it does. But I don't think Jarvis can make it on fuel on 1 stop even. He came out at, it would have been with more than 30 minutes to go. And it's a long lap if you end up having to go long on that final lap as well. There was a discussion we were having in Le Mans at HJR as well, is how much fuel can we get in the tank to make sure if we need to go 1 more just because the way the checkered flag cycles out, we can do it.
The GTP drivers finish as they are right now, then Oystein Herford would still be champion. He needs to fall back a little bit further, I believe. If
So
race
that's
control could
comfortable,
confirm that for us. But yeah, it's a fairly comfortable buffer he's actually got. And he is... Look, Dan Vollmer's looking to make the move on Quinten Verdonk here. Drying track really producing some interesting...
They had 2 different moments in 2 different directions, and then both managed to keep them cars going.
I think we are going to see a crossover point based off the rate that the track's drying, and that crossover point looks like it's going to be potentially near some of the pit stops for the GTPs, so they're going to have to make a really interesting decision on what tyre they go for. Could flip the race on its head. Sanchez has had a moment. Let's take a look. Into Indianapolis. Gonna happen
He's
here.
getting it on the outside, isn't he? Oh, just slow, just slow.
No, I think he's gonna have a bigger moment perhaps here. Yeah, there we go.
Ah, It's just the rear swaps on him. Unfortunate.
Yeah, I know Albert
places to have those kind of
Bream.
incidents though, and like that corner is one of the better ones. There's a huge gravel runoff there, and it's a fairly slow corner anyway. So the speed you're carrying won't take you to the tyre barrier. You're just going to have a bit of skill damage and maybe some scuffed up rears, but for the most part you'll be fine.
Quinton Verdonk sets his best lap of the race, which I believe is a new overall best lap of the race. So the track improving quickly. Albert Preem was quickest of all on the lap prior to that, and he sets another quickest of all lap time. So he has had those mistakes, but the pace right now, he's really coming back at the cars ahead. Oh, and he goes deep. We need to stop saying this because every time we do, something happens. But he's gained on the last lap alone 4 seconds on Oyston ahead. So another lap and he may get right onto the back of him again. Jan Volmers is still hounding Quinton Verdonk in this drying track conditions that we've got here. Jose Villarejo in P3 and AM sets the quickest time for GT3.
Like, this is the thing though, so this track is going to continually build speeds. Like, there is no more rain. All the rain that's on the track right now is going to get displaced over time. We still have 20 cars driving it, or however many. That rain is going to get picked through to the side. Might not be fast enough to potentially look at driving anytime soon, but the less rain, the faster you go. It's just an easy formula. So these lap times are going to collapse. It's all about the gaps right now. And right now, Albert Preem, he's been a victim of his own circumstances, unfortunately, but he definitely has the pace and hands to close the gap. You can see him there in the background out of the first multi-chicane. He is more than capable of closing the gap back up and being content for the end of this race.
As it stands right now, I believe Oysten Hereford will be GTP champion. Fabio Ponta would just snatch away the title from Vincent Ossum. So for those two, it really is who finishes ahead of the other. And I believe Ignis will be champion, but just running the numbers on that one now.
And importantly, the leaders of the GTP field have made it through GTP traffic. I say that as towards the back of it. Sanchez Cachafiero catches a GT3 at a bad moment. Has to get on the anchors, and the car did not like that.
Yeah, Albert Preem is still flying couple of quickest sectors this time round.
You see the replay though, he's just going to catch him right at the apex here, and there's just nowhere for the car to go. He tries to slow down, but the car does not take it.
Probably made the wise decision there. He was about to run into the back of the GT3 title leader, who's currently about to have a title snatched away from him due to the nature of finishing P2, so he'll really want to be avoiding that.
He's just done the exact same thing. Pulls that line very early, he'll clear one GT3. I don't see another one actually.
Ah, catch that puddle on the inside, did he?
Yep. I'll give him credit.
Oh, Albert Preem has had a moment once again.
No.
The Flying Dutchman with a small mistake, I assume. Where are we? We're about to go into Indianapolis. It could be a big one, actually. Oh. Well, I'll tell you what, he's going to get away with it.
Of all the mistakes that look bad you can do in Indy, you might have got away with that the most. I have sent that car into the barrier there too much in practice. That is not a pleasant corner at the best of times, and to keep it going there despite everything that's going on in this test, which was built. Unfortunately, though, falling further behind than he'd perhaps like to. Oh, big moment for him. Oh, in the wall through Porsche curves. The car point forward. That cannot be light damage.
Now we're just on race control deciding it doesn't want to pick up that incident. We've got this one here. Yeah, here we go. Loose on the... Oh, Jesus. Brushes the wall. I wonder if
Brushes is generous.
Steering is straight. Oh, it looks like it's struggling a little bit more than it maybe was before.
That was not a light hit. That car cannot be healthy. You might be able to get away with staying out this stint, but the car is definitely going to be suffering as a result. And he's coming to the pits to take that repair. Unfortunately, though, this track does not look dry wet ready, so you're going to need to make another pit stop, presumably to put on. You might actually be able to hold on to the wet to the end, just accept you're going to lose some time at the end of the race. However,
Sanchez is going to lose it over the curbs here.
Oh.
Strange moment there.
I'll tell you. unique place to lose the car, but again, no damage done. We'll be able to carry on.
The leaders still all over each other.
Serfiad just finds himself a bit further back. Currently, what is that? 5 seconds behind, 6 seconds. But if the numbers are right, we do believe he would be winning the championship if the stay like this. So he's being like, you know what? I don't need to push this. The next car is significantly behind anyway. I think I'm comfortable enough to keep this going forwards. Incident involving, what is that, Colombo and Jarvis?
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happened there. Let's take a look.
Colombo very slow on the racing line.
What happened to Colombo there? He had a 1x about 30 seconds prior, so he's slow here because he's had a moment in the Porsche curves and was given a meatball flag actually, so he had damage. So race control will probably say he drove a car in an unsafe condition, perhaps. Which it looks like he was, yeah. And and Jarvis has had a moment ahead, has he? Is that Jarvis there?
Oh, what? I am very confused as to what's going on. So is the moment happening further ahead?
I think the moment's going to happen here when Jarvis tries to repass damaged GTP and he muscles him out of the way.
I'd like a different camera angle on that one if you could.
So this is what happened to Jarvis. So he's gone loose here.
Tank slapper tags. He might get away with that one, honestly. It doesn't look too bad.
And you can see in the corner of your screen the GTP of Colombo there. Jarvis looks like he's gotten away with it.
It might be superficial damage.
Let's see what's going to happen here. Car in front has a meatball flag. Ah, okay. I think Jarvis will probably feel like the car in front was being very dangerous and was expecting the car in front to stay off the line a little bit more.
So there's two schools of thoughts here. There's the school of thought of like Colombo is hilariously off pace. Like I do not know why you kept that car on track. Honestly, at that point, just take the power spawn. It's going to be faster. At the same time, if he's on track, it's very late in the move of Jarvis, and that gap's always going to close in some fashion. So I don't know how race control are going to see that. I could potentially slap both for different reasons. I don't have to make that call. I get to sit here and shout.
Yeah, I think race control will have to take a look at a few different angles and perhaps get some opinions from the drivers on that. As they stand right now, Ignis is going to become champion by 30 points. So if Adam...
Oh, yeah, Jarvis
if Adam Jarvis can move up 2 spots, sorry.
Almost had a spin.
If Jarvis can move up 2 spots, he can still win the title. But that's the only way that can happen right now. Really strange incident. Let's take another look. We saw it live, but let's see if we can get the off-board. And looks like he's actually setting up for the move here. He's running really close behind. Tries the outside line. It's a little bit different. Gets back in the spray for the braking zone and leaves it on the apex. Dips it. I think there's a puddle on the apex there.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
And that puts Oyston back into P2, which gives him a 9. And he's got 4 seconds behind him. His teammate will probably catch right back up to him. But that could be interesting. We're not mentioned instant points. Colombo's on 16, but he's just been given a black flag when leaving the pit lane. So that'll be for speeding in the pits. Nobody else is close to their limit, perhaps as we'd expect at Le Mans. Ignis, crucially, is only on 4, so he's not going to get a drive through. Adam Jarvis will be looking to move up a couple of spots to have a chance at the title. Car number 71. That's Charlie Lord is stopped in the Porsche curves and in the wall.
I don't... Is that bad position? He might be okay there. The only one car needs to pass him. It is unfortunate Adam Jarvis, who's not had the best of run through there anyway.
Oh, that is really unfortunate to hit that tyre barrier in that way. He probably would have gotten away with it. That's engine gone.
That's get the car in the pits, we're going.
Yeah. Well, Adam Jarvis needed to move up one position. He now needs to, 2 positions. He now only needs to move up 1 position to win the title. But he is in the pit lane right now.
Oh, update from race control. That is not a speeding penalty. That is race control handing that one down for driving in an unsafe condition plus causing a collision.
Ah, there we go. Missed that one on screen.
Yeah, we only saw the black flag portion of it, but yes.
Jarvis in the pit lane for his final stop. I think this might be for tyres. Let's see if he gets jacked up. It would be ambitious, and he is getting jacked up. They are wets on there at the moment, and it's gone to dries on screen. So Jarvis taking the gamble. He only needs to move up 1 spot. He thinks there's enough of a dry line on the racetrack. I'm seeing a lot of wet on the racetrack on the second monitor that we've got here, watching Vincent Ossoms drive around, and there's definitely a lot of spray coming off the back of that car.
I love the gamble. I love the gamble if you're Jarvis, because at this point you're very far back in.
He's not going to lose a position because Lord has got to tow and do the repair.
I don't know if he's got a fast repair as well, but yes. Like, you need to do something to try and recover these positions, and if you're struggling on track, which it appears he was, you might as well try something. Unfortunately, I think this gamble is going to come up short. The track just looks very damp right now. I don't know if there's enough of a dry line to try and make these tyres work. He's going to suffer a lot through the Porsche curves, especially. I think is going to be his main concern. We'll see how well he does, though. He could, if he has got this perfect, he could have a barnstorm of a race, but I would be surprised.
Oh no! There we go. Into the wall at turn 1 for Adam Jarvis, and he tows back to the pit lane. That's going to be title over for Adam Jarvis, because that's a big tow to get back to the pit lane from turn 1. I'm surprised he didn't try and drive it around. Let's take a look at what happened. Actually, he already has damage there. Yeah, and you can see how damp it is. It was perhaps a gamble worth taking, but... Oh, he did actually make turn 1. I'm not quite sure what's happened here.
He made turn 1, he did not make turn 2.
Leaders in GTP are also in the pit lane.
Keep you updated as to what's going on there. The camera does not do many favours there at all. He just turns right.
See if this angle's got it a bit
He's
better.
just trying to get his foot down. The TC just isn't kicking.
You can see the dry line on the racetrack, so I can see why he thought this was maybe worth the risk. Are we going to miss it again? We are. Oh, coming over the curb with the power on, he loses it, it looks like.
Yeah, because that's going to spin up the tyres, and the TC won't save you then.
The leaders in GTP, though, have stayed on the wets, so they don't think it's time for dries. I can see why Jarvis took the gamble. Now it's just going to be to see what Ignis can do. And I'll tell you what, he's not leading the race. The leaderboard says that. He's the head of the GT3 Pros because he's actually got the fastest lap time, so he's got the pace at the moment. Preem with 3 purple sectors setting the pace in GTP once again, but a little bit off the lead now because of the various incidents we've seen him have. Let's see what Ignis does. He can play it safe now. He can go for wets.
I would take wets here. The track is still very damp.
Charlie Lord goes for dries on his outlap, though.
Oh, okay.
Tell a lie. He's retired from the race. It's just showing dries for some reason.
Never mind then. Yeah, I would expect wets to the end here. I don't think the track is going to dry. Well, obviously the track, you can see how much spray that Preem's kicking up here, right? You can see this track is not dry. As Colombo's had an off in Indianapolis. I say off, he's actually in the middle of the track. No traffic, though, so he should be fine. That is an incident point black flag for Colombo.
Take a look at what happened here. A little bit too much speed. Car slowly goes.
Yeah.
As he's been unhappy with the setup.
But yes, as I was saying, the track just is not going to get into a state where you can drive it in dries within the next 5 minutes, I would say. And at some point you need to accept the fact that, okay, the time I gain for pitting for dries is just not going to come. So I might as well stay on wets. Even if the track does progress to a dry state, you're not going to save enough time when you consider the fact that you also have to go through the pit lane as well. So I imagine everyone's just going to stay wet to the end. And by the looks of it, the GT3 field agrees with me. Colombo, massive off through Indianapolis. Okay, I say massive. He only tagged the rear end and spun it around pretty well. It looked a lot worse than it was going to be.
It's going again.
I can't imagine that's going to be good.
What happened here? Oh, snap on the entry. Going to get away with it, but he's coming into the pit lane to serve his dry fruit, and he's had another off.
I think this is just an extended off. He was staying off track for some reason.
Probably didn't want to get another penalty from race control. Driving in an unsafe manner.
Just tow! Just tow! For God's sake! Oh, okay, whatever.
So Volmers is in the pit lane. The last of the GTPs. Sanchez also not pitted yet. I think we'll see him in this time. But I think they're all going to stay on the wets. There's no reason really for anyone to gamble for dries.
Only one. No, Verdonk's already pitted, yeah. Verdonk and Sherford both. Oh, Sanchez loses it on pit entry slightly. Does manage to keep it pointed forwards.
And not even new tyres for Jan Volmers from the looks of it. He stays down on the jacks, doesn't get lifted up. Colombo pits. That's not going to clear his dry fruit.
I think he's got damage from the initial incident with the incident at Porsche.
Cream carrying on
So
with that lightning pace.
If you've got the fuel in the tank at this point, you might as well, right? Oh, a big battle between Volmers and Verdonk on pit exit there for Volmers, who just managed to hold position through pit exit.
Wow, really impressive from Volmers there. He's jumped Verdonk in the pit cycle.
50 seconds pit stop for Volmers, 56 for Verdonk. That is line to line.
That'll be it, but Verdonk will probably get a run down the straight here. He looks really aggressive. A little bit far back, though, to make a move, you'd have to say. Colombo's out of the race. He's retired. Now he's back in the car. Not sure what's going on there.
I don't think anyone is at this point. Either way.
Jarvis is still in the car, by the way. Tow should be done soon. I imagine he'll get back out just in case anything happens to Ignis to make sure that he scores enough points to at least be scored, assuming something does happen to Ignis, that is.
Yeah. I presume Jarvis still has the fast repair. Obviously, it's a long tow because he crashed at the start of the track. But once he gets that fast repair, he can just get back on the track and do what he can to try and scoop up some positions if anything happens to anyone else. Either way.
Has it?
Track definitely coming down, but still damp.
Yeah, as it stands right now, champion by 30 points. Adam Ignis would be.
Oh, other championship. Fair enough. Yes.
Gertford is currently running P3, which is what our sheet says, and Quinton Verdonk is currently running in P2, which means he'll score 320 points, which means that Oysen Herford will still be the champion by a fair margin. I believe that was our hardest one for anyone to win. Fabio Ponta is currently running in the lead of GT3 Pro, and that means he'll be scoring 350 points with the 30 he scored in qualifying. Vincent Ossum scored 32 points in qualifying, will only score 320 in the race, which means that Fabio Ponta would steal the title by...
But Ponta's also got a 13-second lead. That is very comfortable for the GT3 driver.
Yeah, Ponta at the moment would steal the title by just 9 points. Knowing just how important these qualifying points are throughout the season. But it's not over till it's over. There's Vincent Ossum, as we can see now, and actually he's got to worry a bit more about Ignis behind. He's trying to get into P2 overall, currently running P3 overall.
We've seen the number of drivers that have had problems this race, and obviously some have been larger than others. But no one is immune to the wet conditions. Granted, they are coming down, but these cars are going to start behaving very differently over this run. So still potential for someone to slip, especially considering some parts of the track are going to be drier than us just to the amount that they've been run. If you need to overtake a GT3 in a bad position, which they might catch the back end of traffic towards the end of this race, 7 minutes and change on the clock. So there's still plenty of time for something to go wrong for someone.
I think Quinton Verdonk may realise that the title is not going to happen if he finishes like this. I don't think it'll happen if he wins, but if he wins and Preem continues to catch Hereford at the rate that he is, which is about 4 seconds a lap. It was 4 seconds last time, so I don't know if that would be enough to give him the title, but Quinton just needs to move forward, and it's win or nothing really here, I think. Albert Preem sets the fastest time overall, and at this rate, he would pass everybody and win the race.
Which would throw another massive wrench in the calculations. Yeah. But yeah, for Verdonk, it's just you have to do the best you can do, and if you win the race, that's the best chance you have at winning the championship. He's going to go out there and try and do everything he can to take it, and it's a question of whether the rest of the dice fall in his favour. As Awesome's currently being hunted by Vincherevskis, actually, the AM driver. As I think Awesome's just going to feel like he's let this one get away from him a bit. There's a massive gap to the leader right now.
Even if Quinton Verdonk were to win the race and Oyston Hereford dropped to 4th, Oyston would still be champion, but only by 4 points. So Sanchez is a little bit further back and doesn't actually have the pace right now.
Oh, contact! Awesomes goes around, gets dumped by Vincherevskis, and into the barrier.
That'll be under review by race control. Fabio Ponta was still going to steal the title away, but that's crucial for Adam Jarvis, who's not yet back out of the pit lane, but would still finish P4 if Vincerevskis gets a penalty. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. He's fighting with a pro driver, which is obviously all well and good, but to mess with the title, race control won't view that very fairly. He had no real gains to make there. Let's take a look at what happened. Oh, that's really hard to call. Take one more look. I believe they were... Looks like Ignis maybe turns in, but also Awesomes maybe doesn't turn in, perhaps as early as he should. So that's going to be really hard for race control to take a look at, but big championship implications there. That essentially secures Fabio Ponta's title challenge, and that means he's going to win the pro title if it stays as is. But as we've just seen, nothing is guaranteed.
That is a wild one. It's so violent. I mean, obviously, Vincherevskis had pace and had to make that move, but just gets the timing of the turning wrong for whatever reason, and the end result is we have a car in the barrier.
Jarvis is back out on track. He's a lap down on the leaders, but if Ignis is penalised for that and drops, if he gets a drive-through, for example, and drops off down to 3rd in class, it can be really costly as Volmers is deep. Quinton Verdonk is going to be all over the back of him here.
Verdonk had an issue coming into it, or the exit of Indianapolis, but didn't lose the car too badly, and now has a massive run of Volmers here. Could potentially look for dive into
closing.
But
no, he thinks better of it going around the outside, but he's going to get a better line through the first part of Porsche curves. Just wants to stay close and maybe have a run into turn 1. He can really throw his rival off by being up and close behind him, but he can also throw his own balance off a little bit with all that spray and dirty air. And you can see there has a little bit of a snap. Doesn't lose the car too much. Not pushing onto the curb, given the rain.
Yeah. Obviously, in normal conditions, you want to run that as wide as you dare, just to carry as much momentum out that exit as you can. But in these conditions, both drivers playing it fairly safe here.
Albert Preem closing once again on the car ahead of him.
2 to go here this time by.
Into Verdonk, not close enough to make the move now, so that was his real opportunity. Albert Preem, how close is he after this lap? Gained another 3 seconds on Oyston. 2.5 to go. With 2 laps to go, we can easily make this move.
But based on the relatives, we have the IMSA Classic, we have GT3s we need to overtake. And that throws a massive wrench in the works for all of these drivers.
Nothing is certain. Race control taking their time to look at that Ignis and Awesome's incident because it's not been reviewed yet. It is under investigation, as we said. That could have big outcomes here. The top 4 now all within 8 seconds of each other. In fact, all within 6 seconds of each other. This is going to get really, really tight. I think they're all going to concertina. And that's a 10-second time penalty, I believe. For Ignis, yeah, 10-second time penalty for collision. That's going to drop him down to P2. Let's see.
Is Volcast that close?
Yeah, 9 seconds behind.
This
But,
time sheet. I'm reading the wrong
9
time
seconds
sheet. That would
behind,
help.
but then was a second slower in Sector 1. So, and then a second quicker in Sector 3. And then a second slower in Sector 4. So, let's just... Oh, no. That's how close Kiko Lakaye is. Alvaro Valcarce is 20 seconds back, so that's
21.
not going to impact those cars, actually. Not sure how happy Vincent Ossoms will be about that. He'll maybe think a bit more than 10 seconds. And Jarvis has had a moment anyway. Jarvis currently running P4 in class.
And has put the wets back on, but is scored a lap down to... Presumably that would be to... No, that's in class.
That's in class.
So that would be to Ponta.
Yeah. But Ignis, and as he goes deep, just as we said that, cannot afford to lose any time now, because if he drops a wheel off and loses 10 seconds somehow, that puts Alvaro right on his tail. I'm not sure what the implications are. We're just working them out now for what would happen if Adam finishes in P4, which it looks like he will, and Ignis only finishes P2. I believe that will definitely close the gap.
Verdonk gets in the back of Cosmo and Rejo. Both go up the top of Indianapolis. And Ignis in the... Was that the barrier?
Oh, no!
Oh, my word, Verdonk got spun!
That is
Oh my
championship
word, what
over
happened?
for Quinton Verdonk, who you should be able to see on screen now. And he's just had that incident. Albert Preem gets onto the podium and he's chasing down Oyston now.
Thank you, Race Control, for being immediately on top of that. But oh my word, what did I just witness?
Take a look at what happened here.
So this is an issue.
Quinton's going to get...
closed a bit too much.
Yeah.
Just goes for a gap. I don't know what the GT3 was doing.
And then rejoin, he's going to get a
around the
penalty
GT.
there for an unsafe rejoin, I would imagine, as well.
Yeah, watching the replay of that, I would have to agree. He's trying to rejoin and go around a GT3, and I don't think he leaves Preem enough room to reasonably react to that move. And I think he's just a victim of his own decision-making there, unfortunately. He's going to feel really bad about that one.
Just to give you that update we were talking about before that incident, Albert Preem's in the pit lane. It's not what I was going to discuss. We've hit the timer. Maybe he didn't have enough fuel. Maybe that's why he was flying so much at the end of that one. Or is he pitting to repair that damage, perhaps?
Drive-through penalty for Quinton Verdonk, unsafe rejoin. And he has not come into the pit lane. I think it just came too late for him to actually get to the pit, so he's going to have to serve that post-race. I don't know what the procedure for that is going to be, because this should be the white flag for everybody
Albert
here.
Preem just coming in to top up. That's all that was. So didn't have enough fuel to make it to the end, unfortunately for him. So Jan Volmers looks set to win this race. Oyston Hereford is about 5 seconds off the back of him. And Quinton Verdonk is a little bit further back. He's going to have to take that post-race drive-through to be about 40 seconds. That'll drop him even further back. So Sanchez may end up on the podium here after all.
This has been a wild race. I don't smoke and I feel like I need a cigarette.
Fabio Ponta looks set to win the GT3 Pro title as well, and Ignis looks set to steal the title from Adam Jarvis, who has had a really unfortunate race. If he'd had a little bit of a better one and finished sort of the 1-2 order we've seen from these guys all season, he would have been able to retain the title. At the moment, he's going to lose it, and even if Ignis dropped to second right now, I believe he would still lose it by 7 points, which is insane when you think that a win is scored as 350 points. It's tiny, tiny, tiny margins here. And
Racing's still not over as the car is being haunted by Awesomes right now. Gonna look for a dive around the outside of Mulsanne, surely not.
Awesome's driving with a bit of anger here, and he is going to do it. It looks
He's
like
actually
no.
cleared.
Oh, they're really close. And the two cars just get through.
I respect it for Austin, but man, that was fine margins. If Leclerc just didn't quite get as much of the insides as he thought, that was going to be a very awkward shoulder rub on exit.
The only cars I can see ending up potentially in a bit of trouble here are Fabio Ponta,
Ignis is
Ignis.
catching the back of these guys, actually. This could be dramatic. They're going to be close. I think he's going to get them on the exit of Hanage, actually, so it might be fine.
Fabio Ponta is 88 is car number 88, and he's 16 seconds clear of the next car. If he doesn't get the checkered flag when he goes to the line, he'll have actually done a whole nother lap compared to the rest of the GT3 field. Hopefully that's not going to impact his race in terms of fuel mileage. I think we'd have seen him backing off by now.
Oh, what happened to you cross the check
So he won't have had a white flag yet, I don't think. And he's far enough ahead of the leaders that I don't think he'll get a checkered flag either.
But he would have completed the lap ahead of everybody. Colombo's been given a black flag.
As for incident point limit, I imagine, yeah, he's on 23. So that's his second drive through for incident points.
That's... I will not speak. I will not speak.
If Fabio
Either way, still
Ponta
dramatic race
crosses the
between Leclerc and Austin.
line...
Now Sherford's trying to get through them.
Fabio...
Ponta's going to take
Not the
white
checkered flag, the white flag.
I don't know what the ruling is here, because he's going to be...
Well, it's not a checkered flag.
only GT3.
So he still has to...
Oh, wait, hold on.
No, he hasn't got the checkered flag. Jan Volmers is about to take the checkered flag to win the race in GTP, but is he out of fuel? Or is he just kind of...
Volmers is coasting!
Oh, that was really close. I think he was maybe trying to line up for side by side of his teammate, possibly, or was he out of fuel? Because he's back going again.
Either way.
I think he was trying to get side by side.
So the 88, the 91, and the 9 are still on track. Arden Jarvis, a lap down, isn't going to factor. He's actually going to get a lap on. No, because Ponta's the car you need to overtake to get a lap back. This is all going to be very weird. In my head,
so I
Fabio
think
Ponta has completed 15 laps, as is the rest of the field, so I think he should be fine, but I'm not sure.
I think he would still be fine. I think race control have had to look at a situation like this before, and there is a precedent set, so I'm not sure what it would be. I think you would probably say that actually he still completed more race distance than any of the other cars.
Yes.
But we'll see. Fabio Ponta...
He completed his 15th lap ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, we're pointing out Ignis also hasn't taken that checkered flag. Yeah. And he's about to lap his championship rival once again to put him 2 laps down in AM.
Meanwhile, the rest of the field is having a fun time celebrating through the S's. Everyone getting waves from everybody.
I think we can now confirm that Oysten Hereford will be your champion in GTP. So congratulations to Oysten for winning the title. I believe it's his debut, or his at least return season with Anti-Stall Racing in the IMSA Series. Lines up for a photo with his teammate. Fabio Ponta will be looking to win the title when he finally makes it to the line.
To be fair, he's taken this long. We can load up a second round of fireworks for him as he crosses the line. So, good for him.
Sanchez running side by side with his GT3 teammate to get some nice pictures down the Mulsanne. Ponta flashing his lights. Clearly getting a little bit bored here. Not much to do for this driver as he makes his way to the checkered flag to get his title in the GT3 Pro category. Ignis will be looking to do the same as well in the AM class. Worth pointing out, Adam Jarvis also hasn't taken the checkered flag. He's just behind Ignis now, so he'll also be taking the checkered flag alongside the driver that he's taken the checkered flag with so many times already this season. A little bit of a different situation to what we're used to with those two, though. If you've enjoyed the action today, head to the link in the description to head to our website where you can look at the plans for next season. That includes a new calendar and a slightly revised format for the finale. Instead of the hour-long we had today, it will be 90 minutes at Daytona. So we're looking forward to that slight mix-up for the finale.
The Daytona Oval, I presume.
Daytona Road Course, yeah, unfortunately.
Oh.
We did think about a week 13 race with prototypes doing the road course and NASCAR doing the oval. all at the same time.
Oh God. See, the problem is cautions would ruin that race.
But enough about
And also,
Fabio.
I think the barrier for the bus stop chicane would ruin that, actually.
Yes,
but
that
I
probably would.
digress.
But we could run the oval and let the drivers do a road course if they wanted to. Possibly one way of doing it. Anyway, Vincent Ossoms isn't able to win the title. He's going to have it snatched from him by Fabio Ponta, who is about to take the checkered flag after doing another lap compared to everyone else. He still makes it on fuel. So Fabio Ponta, who's won and had pole position, so basically Grand Slams in 3 races that he's taken part in this season, not going to get back today because Kiko Lakaye took pole position. He's ended up finishing second after dropping back a lot early on in the race. But Fabio Ponta is going to win, and he's going to win the title and steal it from Vincent Ossoms in the last round. Wins by just 9 points in the end, I believe, although I don't know if those points have been updated actually. But Fabio Ponta is going to be your title. Ignis.
Beef on the start-finish line. Vince Risky was trying to do a donut, and Adam Jarvis just drives into him.
Vince Gareskis will be happy with that championship in GT3 Am. He had a close fight all season with Adam Jarvis, who's just had it slip away from him in this final round, where he's been a bit unfortunate. The 2 drivers side by side, and I think Adam Jarvis trying to do some donuts in the Mustang that's maybe not wanting to comply. Fabio Ponta also giving us some donuts as our championship winner in GT3 Pro. Congratulations to all of our champions today. Been really, really exciting race to watch. I believe we've got 2 of our champions here for interviews. We'll pull them in now. And I've accidentally dropped them in the stewarding room, so let's move them into the right one. There we go. Sorry, guys. Briefly dropped the 2 of you in the stewarding room. That was a little bit of a mistake. Congratulations. Firstly, we'll go to Oyston, winning the GTP title. So congratulations. Not quite the most straightforward race. It looked like you may be struggling in the damp conditions a little bit earlier on.
Yeah. That was it was my first race in the car in the rain. So that was extremely difficult. Really impressed by Albert. Honestly, the pace he had, especially the last half, Jesus.
Yeah, he was rapid.
Was so
we were
quick.
watching him gain sort of 4 or 5
Yeah.
seconds a lap sometimes on you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, congratulations. I'm sure Andy will be in touch shortly to sort out your prize money. Hopefully we'll see you back next season as well, potentially.
Maybe, yeah. It
We'll see.
depends on how much time I get during the fall and over the winter. So but we'll see. It was really fun though. I have to give a shout out to you guys for hosting this. Even though it was sad, a couple of races with few cars, it was well prepared as always. I think I've been a part of one of your leagues before, and yeah, it's very good fun. Very good fun.
Well, thank you very much. And we've got Ignis here as well, GT3 Am title winner. Congratulations, you're pretty dominant in that race and managed to clinch the title, but walk it through us from your point of view.
Yeah, it's great. Actually, I think I did qualifying pretty well. The Porsche really suited this track, in the wet especially, in the wet that had so much space. So just because we didn't have to go to the dry tires, I think the Porsche just kind of dominating in this kind of overchanging, changing kind of conditions. So it was a key, I think. It's an amazing car, and I think I put the setup pretty much how I wanted it, and it did everything I asked for. So the race was great, except for one incident. I thought I gave Austin a little bit enough space to get inside, but I'll have to check the replay. I have no clue what happened. I thought I gave him enough room. And also shout out to Adam. Like it was an amazing season, fighting throughout. So amazing season for you, and also for you guys. Thank you so much for putting this together.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It's been really, really fun. We've had a great season, and yeah, congratulations on the championship.
Thank you.
All right, Kirby,
And in
before we
signature,
go...
we will say congratulations to Oh,
Fabio Ponte.
Ponte. There we go. I forgot his first name. Have him as provisional winner for the GT3 Pro category, which is not easy for me to say either. I'm struggling.
Been a long one. The full results will be published on the Anstel Racing website, which you can also see at the link in the description if you want to see the results. But I believe there are now outstanding incidents to be reviewed at the moment. So our title winners, as we've already gone through once, we'll do it again. Oysen Hereford is our GTP title winner. Ignas Vincerevskis is our title winner in GT3 AM, and our title winner in GT3 Pro was Fabio Ponte. So congratulations to all of the drivers who took place this season. We hope to see as many of you back as possible next season. As I mentioned briefly in the broadcast, half of the seats for next season are already sold, so if you do want to join us, make sure you head to the website and purchase your entry. Before we go, Kirby, I just want to ask you, what was your highlight of that race? Because it was pretty non-stop, actually.
You're asking me to pick one? Okay. Oh, let me have a think. I want to say there's a moment where we had the 3 GTP leaders just driving off into the distance, and there was just that brief moment where Albert Preem just popped into frame behind them on the Mulsanne straight, and I was like, oh, we're going to have a real battle in a few minutes. Unfortunately, Preem then had a few more incidents off track, but there's that brief moment of just... we knew what we were in for, and that was a really exciting moment that didn't come to pass, and I'm very sad about it.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting and pretty non-stop all race, actually, especially that lead battle in GTP. All right, so that's it from us today. Before we head off, I'm just going to leave you with the trailer for next season. Thank you so much to everyone that's joined us for most of the races, if not all of the races that we've been able to broadcast this season, and we hope to see you back next season.